Hey everyone, and welcome back to Alumni Spotlight. I'm Jen, and you're listening to the podcast series by NUS BizConnect, where we get up close and personal with the career journeys of our amazing alumni. If you caught our first episode with Andre, you'll know we had an incredible conversation unpacking his journey. If you haven't listened to that one yet, I'd highly recommend going back there and starting there because there were genuinely some great insights in there. But today we're back with Andre for part two, and we're switching things up completely. Today's theme is reality versus perception, and we're going myth busting. Because let's be honest, the startup world gets a lot of romanticizing online, from the highlight reels, your fundraising announcements, the we just hit a million users posts. But what's actually going on behind the scenes? What does the day to day really look like for a startup founder? Andre, welcome back. Really glad to have you with us again for round two. How today's episode is going to work. Today, I'm going to put a commonly held perception about entrepreneurship on the table, and I want you to respond to it directly. So you can either agree, push back, or do both from both sides, different perspectives, and just let us know how it is like in real life for you as a startup founder. Okay, so you can just think of it as like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. All right, let's get into it. Our first myth, the perception is founders spend most of their time on big ideas and strategy. So this is thinking about the future, setting the vision, making high level decisions. Do you agree or disagree?
Okay, I would say that I think we can call it like fake founders. Yeah, fake founders do that. A lot of founders out there, uh, I'm sure you guys have friends who will post a LinkedIn job update. Oh, I'm the co-founder and the CEO of this company, right? A lot of us have seen that before. But then you don't see anything happening after that, right? So it's kind of like just a fake title. Because some people think that there's prestige that's attached to it. It's true. I think that as a founder, it's important to think of the big picture and like ideas. But you cannot ground yourself in that, right? Um, I like to have this kind of like inside running joke that the title CEO doesn't stand for Chief Executive Officer. It's very, very cringe, okay, guys. It stands for Chief Execution Officer. Okay. Mean to say that as a founder, and as a CEO of the company, what you have to be doing is you have to be executing, you have to be on the ground, you have to be getting stuff done. If you're gonna spend all your time just romanticizing of that future Ferrari that you're gonna own because you are gonna sell your startup for like 500 mil, you're never gonna do anything that will actually get to that stage. What you have to do is you have to start by going kind of like taking baby steps, starting from the ground up, and then working on small little milestones as you kind of like hit them. It will then accumulate to something bigger. So think of it in phases. Don't ever think of, it's always nice to think of like the bigger picture. But always think of what is the one thing that you can do now that will truly like move the needle. Right? Kind of corporate jargon. Right. So you really need to think from that perspective. And I think once you have that unlock and you realize that it's not about all the fluffy things, those don't really matter. By the way, fun fact, statistics show that you wanna guess what's the percentage of startups that fail?
92.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's around that, yeah. So it's around 90%. Okay, around 90% of startups fail. And the reason why they fail is very often because the founders are somewhat like the Lulu lah. Like they kind of just keep on thinking that, oh, one day I'm gonna sell my company for 500 million, 1 bill. Yeah. But then they don't actually know what to do.
So they have a dream but no plan.
Yes. Yeah, very, very common. So um one thing that me and my co-founder always grounds ourselves in is always thinking of for this week that we are working on the company, what is that one actionable that we're gonna do that will take us from this metric to that metric. Always measure everything, right? When you're running a company, everything needs to be measured. You cannot measure anything or you cannot achieve anything based on fluff. Doesn't work.
That's true. How did you meet your co-founder?
Oh, so we are actually secondary school friends. So we both were from the same secondary school. So happened when I had this idea to go into AI, because I was from business school, right? So I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna need like a technical co-founder to kind of like help me out on this journey to with the product. I'm appreciative. So I prayed one day and I was like, okay, God, like I need a technical person to help me and make a co-founder. The next morning when I woke up, I'm not even kidding you. There's this guy who stalked my LinkedIn profile. You can see when people stalk your profile, right?
Oh my god, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it showed Jet Ng view of LinkedIn profile. I clicked on it and the first thing I saw was NUS Computer Science. interested in startups. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey bro, like want to catch up and stuff. And then he was like, oh yeah, sure, let's catch up. We weren't very close in secondary school. Caught up, basically shared with him the idea. He was pretty much on board and we were like, okay, let's do this. So here we are now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay,
So, yeah.
so moral of the story is don't be shy to reach out, and
Yeah.
maybe if you're stalking, just connect lah. Okay, love that. So moving on to our next second one, and I think this one is one that a lot of students fall into. Once you have a meaningful idea, meaning like something that solves a genuine problem, people will naturally resonate with it and want to use it. Do you agree or disagree?
100% disagree. So disagree in a sense whereby I think that having a good idea is not good enough today. What you need to be able to do is to really kind of like understand what is it that your potential ICP, if you don't know what ICP is, go and search it up. You should hopefully if you don't know what ICP. Okay, so your ideal customer group.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. So your ICP itself needs to really love your product so much that they're willing to pay for it. There are many times whereby I've had many friends who have come to me and kind of like told me like, oh Andre, like I have this idea. Will you buy it? Right? Or then they will send you a survey and then they ask you to do the survey and then after they're like, oh okay, I collected 50 surveys that these students or these individuals they all love the product and they will use it. But then when I look at the product, is there anybody using it? None. Is there anybody paying for it? None. So I think one thing that you have to be very certain is that people's validation isn't good enough. The true test for validation is when someone gives you the dollar and someone gives you the money and says, okay, the product is so good, it's solving such a deep pain point, I'm going to be using it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, whatever that is. But that is kind of the true mark of it.
So interested is not enough.
Oh, yeah.
Being willing to pay for it is what really does.
Correct.
Okay, I see. And for Pallo specifically, given that you are operating in the education space where trust is especially important, whether it's students like your parents, institutions, did they add another layer of complexity to really getting people on board with your brand and being willing to pay?
Yes, 100%. So if I'm sure you know, like there are AI tutors everywhere, right? I mean, every vertical, when you look at the AI SaaS companies, you have got AI lawyers, AI for legal, you've got AI healthcare, AI for doctors, you've got AI education, you've got AI for teachers or AI tutors. Software, you've got AI engineers. Those I think have been the farthest reaching in terms of penetration into the actual market. It's very real. I think this whole AI with and the idea of trust is super important as well, especially in our industry. And that's why even though there are so many competitors, there's so many AI tools, very often you haven't really found one that actually kind of like really has hit that spot. And it kind of like links back to trust, right? If the product itself is not trusted by a small handful of students, and the output that you get is no better than what you get from GPT or Claude or Gemini, what's the point of using a product? There's literally no point. So one thing that we wrestle with and one thing that we spend a lot of time in is to actually develop curriculum. And we develop curriculum in-house, right? And we really make sure that the curriculum is so accurate to the point whereby it's undisputable. So I think that is, for us, in our use case, super important in establishing trust. Because once a student sees that, for instance, you are studying, let's say, forces and moments for physics, right? And you get, let's say, a topic that is, so you get an output that is not within the topics that you studied. You get an output that is at the university level requirements. Instantly, that trust is less because then it's the student who is studying at the A levels or O levels will feel like, oh, this software is not actually like what it claims to be being aligned to my syllabus. So trust is super important. When we look at the B2B side of institutions, even crazier, there's a lot of kind of like data privacy protection measures that we have to adhere to as well. So it is very, very complicated overall.
Okay, and how did you really go about building this curriculum from perspective of like take? Like, was it a very personal perspective, or did you make sure that everything's very, very aligned and things like that?
Yeah, so making sure everything is very aligned. We hire people who actually understand the curriculum. So either ex-students, ex-teachers, professionals, experts who have lived and kind of like taught the curriculum before. That helps to enhance the trust to another level.
Okay, no problem. All right, our last one, and I think this one is probably the biggest myth of all, especially young university students. You guys might be thinking this. Entrepreneurship is exciting and flexible because you're your own boss, you set your own hours, and you get to work on something you're passionate about every day.
Eh, No, it's not. Okay, exciting, yes, but it's not flexible. It is flexible to a certain extent, and okay, I think it really depends on the founders themselves. How flexible do you want it to be? Me and my co-founder, we work every day from like 9 a.m. in the morning to around 11, 12, 1 a.m. Yeah, we're in office every day from when the office officially opens until officially closes. So it's like until 10:30 at night. Do we choose to be kind of like slaves to our own work? Yes. It's an intentional choice. In fact, fun fact, before this, I was working. We're filming this on a Sunday, by the way. So I was working before this. After this, I was working as well. After this, I was working. I mean, after this, I will be working as well. I was working yesterday as well. So we work literally how many days are in a week? 8 days, right? 8 days. So we work 8 days a week, 25 hours. So we literally work round the clock. Like, not even kidding. Now, that is not to say that it has to be the same for every founder. Different founders have different choices. I have seen other founders who clock out at 5 p.m. and they come in around like 11. Yeah, completely flexible. Great. Is their startup moving? No. So it's kind of like the choice that you take. At the earlier stages, I would say that you have to be very, very devoted if you want to make it succeed. We are nowhere near that level yet as well, and that's why we are still putting in the hours. And I will never kind of like. And
So
that's
there's like a specific milestone that you envision, and once you pass that milestone, then you guys can help.
I think it's hard to say because I don't really know what that when I'm at that milestone what it look like. Yeah. So for instance, when we raised our first round of funding, I thought, okay, great, we have funding now, right? I can hire some people. Maybe we can start to take a step back. No, yeah, it just got more intense. So I think as the stages go by, the requirements change, but it will always kind of like be at that level of intensity. Yeah.
Okay, I see, I see. Is it hard for you to like wake up in the morning and push yourself to go to work? What really kind of pushes you to go for OT every day and things like that? Is it just pure discipline or is there a greater like deeper meaning to it?
Right. It's I think it's fun. That's one of it. So it being fun is super important. Secondly, it's the intrinsic motivation that me and my co-founder have that we want to freaking succeed. Like we just want to we want to blow out the park, right? So I think when you think about all of the founders who have made it big today, right? You've got Zuckerberg, you've got Sam Altman, you've got all these just amazing founders. Do you think they got there just by chance? Do you think they got there just purely based off, oh yeah, let me just chill at home, like let's just work a 9 to 5 and that's all? Yeah, I'm pretty sure not the case, right? Everyone who has kind of like made it big today has gotten there because they really put in the hours to really achieve what they want to see materialize. And so I think for us, the thing that drives us is that we number one, want to make sure that we do a good job at what we're doing. And secondly, that we're able to truly make impact, right, on a much larger scale. And that's what gets us out of, although I don't want to get out of it. Yeah.
Understandable. But actually, you talk about your job being fun. Which parts are fun and which parts are not so fun?
I think that, oh, uh, I think that overall, the, okay, I mean, because I wear multiple hats, right? So I think building the product itself is very fun because we're always building. I love product, so I've always loved building, and I think building something that students are actively using and giving you good feedback on every day, and even bad feedback, is something that is quite fulfilling. The parts that are not so fun is when you have to go through your journal entries, right? If you have done your accounts, logging in those receipts, logging in those expenses. Just saying, guys, I'm a director of a company. Need to say that if like just one statement is off, it can land us all in big trouble, right? Yeah, because we actually owe is like kind of like actual duty to the company and to uh the legal laws as well. So I think that part not so fun. Um, yeah, but it's quite funny because I was accounting. I got into NUS Biz as an accounting major. Like, yeah, because I thought like, oh, it's harder to get in. I'm not sure about you, but when I was my time, the rank points was higher. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and do accounts. Then I went inside after the first year. I just actually
Okay, at least you knew what you couldn't do lah.
yeah, can't do
Afterwards.
account.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, but actually, because you talk about intrinsic motivation, right? Was there actually a moment where the weight of it genuinely made you question if that motivation was worth it, like whether or not you wanted to keep going, and if so, what would you do?
Yeah, every single day, man. Yeah. Every single day I'm thinking, oh, should I still do this?
That's me, like when I want to go fast, I'm like, should I skip?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, but
And
what
and
really
and
pulls you through? Just
you're
that
that's crazy.
holistic motivation.
No, I think that I think all founders struggle with this, right? Is that every day you kind of think whether or not whatever you're doing, is it worth doing? Is it worth the time? And is it worth kind of like you, yeah, basically dedicating so much of your bandwidth into? Um, I think that intrinsic motivation a lot of times cannot really be taught or cultivated. It must come from within. And I think for us, I'm thankful that because we still enjoy what we're doing, I think that helps a lot. But I will say that it's a very real struggle. Many founders face burnouts. I face my own fair share of burnouts. I have many other AI ad tech, not ad tech, AI like startup founders that have faced their own fair share of burnouts. It's something that you have to regulate, and that's part of the process.
So, like, what did you do once you were
What do I do? I sleep.
okay,
I think
understandable.
yeah. I mean when I'm burnt out, what I try to do is to take walks. It helps. Yeah. So just take evening walks. Just walk and then like just get your mind off things. I think that is a good way to just relieve it.
True, true, true. Are there any parts of your journey that exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, I think when we raised our first round, that was pretty crazy because I think that for us we didn't really think that we were able to raise. So I'm very, very blessed and very fortunate that we managed to raise a first round that has been able to sustain us up to this point. And we're looking to raise we're looking to raise another round very soon as well. So we're actually like in talks with investors now as well. So I think that that part was quite beyond expectations because um we are on the VC route. And the VC route, another fun fact, in case you're wondering, is that the VC route is very different from the bootstrap route, which is very different from the lifestyle business, right? Which is what I talked about in the previous episode. So go and check it out if the link below. They're all very different, right? So I think when you're on this VC route, there's a lot of pressure because you have investors that you owe your entire business to as well. You have to deliver for that.
Yeah.
It exceeded our expectations because we honestly didn't think that we're gonna go this route. So I think the fact that we're on this route is something that's new to us as well.
I think it's an achievement in itself also. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
milestone. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Andre. I think that what makes this conversation so valuable is exactly the kind of honesty that you've brought to our viewers today. It's easy to find the very glossy version of startup life online. You have so many highlights, you have the glamour behind it all, but it's very rare to find someone who's willing to really pull back that kind of glamour and say this is how it actually is. And I think you've shown light on the hard parts and how it takes not only discipline but also a deeper intrinsic motivation behind what you actually do. So the day-to-day grind, the slow and often frustrating process of earning like your user trust, for example, the trade-offs that don't make it to the highlight reel, these are things that our listeners need to hear, especially if they are thinking of going along that startup route themselves. So for anyone listening who's on the fence about entrepreneurship, I hope that today's episode gave you a much more honest and complete picture, not to discourage you, but to help you go in with your eyes wide open.